I would know if something was wrong.
Are you sure about that? You won't just be hurting her. You'll be hurting Rocco. She's supposed to be dead.
Cut the crap and stop this nonsense.
We both know you're not the one who's really in charge here.
Don't ever try to do it to my son again.
General Hospital latest update. Drew makes an unhinged move to cut Scout off from her entire family. Jason stands firm and Chase won't play along. Meanwhile, Willow snaps. Britt's reappearance jeopardizes Joss's cover. And Marco pushes a bold strike against Sonny. Secrets, slaps, and sabotage. Who's pulling the trigger next? Drew makes a disgusting promise to Alexis. Plus, spoiler, blows Joss and Vaughn's cover. Today on General Hospital, Joss tells Vaughn all about Britt Westbourne. Maxie continues to disagree with Brooke Lynn over Sonny. And Marco advises Sidwell to move against Sonny now. In the Quartermain foyer, after Drew demands Chase arrest Danny, Jason steps up to protect his son. Drew then demands that Jason also be arrested for obstruction of justice. Alexis argues that Danny is a minor, and there is no case here as Scout asked her brother to bring her here. Drew makes even more enemies. Drew again orders Chase to arrest Danny, who has gone into the living room, but Chase says there are no grounds, and he's not carrying out Drew's twisted vendetta. Chase goes to give Danny a warning, and Jason warns Drew never to come at him through his son again. In the living room, Chase talks to Danny as Jason joins and warns the boy that he lucked out. Something had happened while he was bringing Scout home on his bike. He could have gotten into serious trouble. In the foyer, Alexis tries to make Drew see he's taking this way too far. Drew argues that he is protecting his daughter because Danny has learned from his father that the rules don't apply to him, which makes him a danger to Scout. Drew says Sam would want him to protect Scout. Alexis says that since he invoked Sam's name, she would want her daughter with her brothers, not kept from her family and certainly not relocated to DC. Drew somehow finds a way to sink even lower than possible, saying what Sam would or would not want doesn't matter as she's not here. Drew says his daughter needs to be kept from people who seek to undermine him, people like her. Well, now even more people have a motive to shoot Drew, so let's get this party started, writers. Can't take back that slap. Marco walks into the hospital lounge just in time to see Willow slap Lucas across the face. Marco rushes to his side and Willow flees out the door. Lucas explains to Marco what went down, and Marco offers to be a witness if he wants to go to H. Lucas doesn't want to pile more on Willow and should have stayed out of it. Marco suddenly has an errand to run, but says he'll text Lucas later. Willow heads to the stairwell and Liz follows, realizing something is wrong. Willow cries to Liz about losing it and slapping Lucas, which could cost her her kids. Liz tells her this is assault and grounds for suspension or even termination. Willow thinks she should apologize to Lucas, but Liz tells her she needs to go home and that's an order. She'll do what she can to smooth things over. Liz finds Lucas and says she sent Willow home, and asks if he wants to file a report. Lucas doesn't, but feels that unless Willow makes changes in her life, she shouldn't be anywhere near her kids. Maxie, you in danger, girl. Maxie brings James to the pool to meet Cody for a swim date and get him out of her hair as she has work to do. Sidwell approaches her and has heard the ladies at Deception are keeping quiet about the Sonny snafu. He thinks it's wise, but Maxie says she disagrees with the decision. Nearby, Rocco tells Gio that he and his mom are adopting Outback, so he can see her anytime he wants. Brooklyn arrives and Gio, and the enormous chip on his shoulder, immediately asks what she's doing here. She explains she's only here to see Maxie, tells him to have a good day and walks off. Brooklyn pulls Maxie away from Sidwell to talk business. Maxie still feels they made the wrong decision not going to the cops. Maxie tells Brooklyn she's a Quartermain, so deception failing isn't going to hurt her pockets, but it will ruin her life. Meanwhile, James and Cody meet Sidwell when their football heads his way. James recognizes Sidwell as the man who works with his mom. Sidwell says he also knows his grandpa Mac, the chief of detectives. James says his grandpa is a good guy and gives great advice, and his mom even talked to him last night about something really important. It's so obvious Sidwell is going to disappear Maxie. Later, Marco arrives to meet his dad and Cody and James get back to the pool. Sidwell tells his son that James is charming and full of helpful information. Marco tells his dad he needs to play his card against Sonny regarding the bribe judge now before it's too late. Back to Rocco, who tells Gio that things have been tense between him and his mom. and he thinks adopting Outback is his mom's way of trying to make things better. He wonders how things are with Gio and his mother. Gio tells Rocco that his issues with Brooke Lynn aren't just about the adoption, as she's done things to hurt people. Rocco says if he's speaking about the Britt issue, he thanked Brooke Lynn for helping him learn the truth. Albrecht asks who for a reference. In the restaurant, Carly warns Albrecht that if she tells Rocco that Lulu had her kicked out, it will only hurt Rocco. Albrecht says keeping her from Rocco will only make him resent his mother. Nearby, Anna corners Brennan and asks if he has heard from Joss. He tells her that's none of her business, but assures her if something were wrong he'd know. Albrecht calls Anna over, asks her to convince Carly that she's not a danger to Rocco. Anna suggests she make peace with Rocco's parents, as making things difficult for the boy is something Britt wouldn't want. I'm not sure about that, Anna. Albrecht says in the spirit of cooperation she'll accept Carly's offer and take the room at the Cosmo, but she'll need the penthouse. Carly walks off, and Albrecht asks Anna about her intense conversation with Brennan. Guess who's back in Port Charles? Colette Moreau, who is back from Peru, meets with Jack and tells him to extract the unqualified Joss from the mission immediately. Jack says this is his op and she doesn't give him orders. Carly walks over and says hello to Colette, who quickly rushes off. Carly thinks she doesn't like her, but Jack says it's him that Colette is upset at. A blast from the past. At the Five Poppies, Britt flirts with Vaughn as Joss watches from a distance. Pascal asks Mrs. Nash, Joss, if everything is okay as she looks like she's seen a ghost. Joss explains that the woman over there is being handsy with her husband, and asks what her name is. Pascal doesn't answer and says he'll handle the situation. Pascal interrupts Britt and Vaughn, saying it's time for Britt's massage appointment which her friend booked. Vaughn tells Britt it was nice meeting her and he'll see her around. She gushes that in fact he will. Alone, Pascal warns Britt that she knows he does not want her to fraternize with guests and keep a low profile. Brooke yells, "Hello. I'm not Taylor Swift and I'm in Croatia. Who will recognize me here?" He warns her to stay away from Vaughn/Mr. Nash. Britt reminds him that he is not the one in charge here and decides to go to the lab and demand some changes, starting with him. Back in the honeymoon suite, Joss scolds Vaughn for hitting on that woman, reminding him they're supposed to be in love. Vaughn says that the woman is a resident and he was trying to get to know her for information. Joss says she knows her and she's supposed to be dead. Joss informs him who Britt is and if she sees her, then their cover will be blown and the assignment compromised. In the show's final moments. At the pool, Gio tells Rocco that he simply doesn't see him working things out with Brooke Lynn. Maxie tells Brooke Lynn that she has 3 kids to care for, so she can't risk losing deception or jail time over Sonny. Marco tells his dad that Willow is unraveling quickly, and if Michael gets permanent custody of those kids, his father will lose his leverage over Sonny. At the hospital, Liz tells Lucas she believes that without Drew around, Willow will be back to herself in no time. Lucas admits that if Michael didn't have custody of those kids, he'd have filed an HR complaint. At the Quartermain place, Jason tells his son that Drew wants to hurt him and isn't above using his son to do it, so be careful. Alexis suggests to Drew that they calm down before they both do something they regret. He says it's too late and from now on, Scout will have no contact with her, Danny, or anyone else from her family. He storms out. At the Metro Court, Anna tells Albrecht that she and Brennan have a complicated history. Albrecht teases that, given that Brennan doesn't play by the rules, she thought that would make him her type. Brennan gets a text from V saying, "Loving the sunset here in Croatia." In their resort room, Joss fills Vaughn in about Britt and her parents, and that she's a brilliant doctor and scientist. Vaughn believes Britt is the key to the answers about Dalton's cold fusion project. Out on the patio, Britt finds Pascal and is furious that he's no longer in the lab. Pascal says he's left the resort. Britt stomps away and Pascal takes a call from Colette, who warns him that Mr. and Mrs. Nash are WSB agents. On the next General Hospital, Drew tells someone he and Scout must leave for DC as soon as possible. Oh please let this be the start of the Who Shot Drew storyline. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.